Hey everybody, Professor Steins here. And so today I'm kind of looking at a website that I made in another video, just a little kind of simple put together. A lot of questions about wrapper class and what it does. Container. It basically kind of holds everything that's in the page, so other things can use it. It kind of sets a width. I kind of click on it and inspect it. Wrapper is what we want. It just kind of sets some framing options that kind of bring the page together. You can kind of see that margin zero auto is sort of the rule uh, that centers it into the page. Width is kind of saying 92% of the browser. And take the max width off, it's kind of more 92%. So kind of what I want to do though is kind of show that, yeah, it doesn't really have to be there. So you could kind of take it out, this wrapper and this wrapper, and kind of show maybe a different way that it could be used, kind of the same context. Shift tab will unindent it, so kind of bring it back a little bit. Still nothing kind of there. What I'm going to do though instead is just kind of edit my CSS to be kind of similar to what was there before. So let me just take this wrapper rule out for right now, since it's not there anymore, it's not doing anything. So the first thing that we would want to do is kind of set the page together, and that might be margin zero auto like that, and still put our max width 960 pixels. And that should still kind of bring it back. I could also kind of setting the background color to gray there, but in order to kind of get that background color back to white the way it was, we'd have to look at each of those different sections. So that's header, footer, nav, and main. I think that's what I called it. Yeah, ID equals main, so it's a pound sign. We'd have to set the background color on those guys back to white. And it's not going to quite look what we want it to look like. What's happening here is there's actually some margin and padding and other kinds of things that exist that's making that gray color show through the background. Also, because we're using floats on the nav section, the nav is kind of only as big as what's inside of it, so it doesn't kind of come down anymore like it used to. There's all kinds of ways that you could still kind of apply that wrapper concept a little bit easier to work through. So I'm going to kind of take at least these two rules out. And actually set this one back to just 0. Create my wrapper again. Let's do the background color of white, and then stick those two rules back in it. And take it out. Let's see what that takes us back to, something like this. So I could do this though. Class equals wrapper. Notice how, actually that's not quite how it's done. Class equals wrapper. Let's see, actually, these two, let's leave it off of these two for right now. So these two don't have the wrapper, they're more fluid to the page. What I mean by that is that it's kind of based on browser width completely. Whereas we do kind of still have these rules going on in here in the header section. It really just kind of depends on how you want to layer things. So in the discussion, I posted a YouTube video to a graffiti link, but I think I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to put this little video right here. Um, because it really just depends on how you want to do things. So again, this margin and padding can really wreak havoc with what you want it to do. Background color blue, color of white, and footer. Let's do the same. Margin 0, padding 0. We'll do our school colors, right? Purple and white. Yeah. Kind of see now I have some overlapping colors in here. So there's the wrapper tag that sets the background color. It just depends on cascadiness of rules. So I have overlapping rule sets between wrapper and footer tag on the background color. So what I might actually want to do is just take this background color off. How come that guy didn't come up white? H1 blue. Again, overlapping colors. Now we're able to turn the blue off and the white would show. So you end up spending kind of a lot of time tinkering around with your CSS. I try to kind of organize mine up a little bit, use these comments to kind of help break it up. So maybe a header and footer. Wrapper is really kind of more of a global kind of style that I'm going to use, kind of a up here, 960 pix. So we have these two divs. We could just kind of maybe add a wrapper around those two. Wrapper here after main. It's kind of like a picture frame. I really don't want to try to use that terminology because a frame tag in HTML is kind of its own deal. And it's not really applicable to what we're trying to do. This is kind of a really old school tag. So I'm trying to not use the word frame, but it's kind of like a picture frame, wrapper is. Why come these guys didn't... I think this div needs to be after this clear. I think that's probably what's causing my problem here. No, I don't see it in the markup. Oh, because silly me. Indentation can really help too. Tab and Shift Tab will kind of do it on a large scale. If you say you don't really like that look either, you could always just kind of take this off and stick another div inside of these guys. Div class equals wrapper. And put one in the... Do it this way. Take it off there. Add one here. Now we still kind of get that center aligned inside of a picture frame. But now the header and the footer section are actually kind of 100% of the page. So if we still kind of wanted to make that sort of design, we could. And that could possibly work. There's all kinds of styles that you could also add. Um, you could do for footer, position fixed, bottom of 0. Kind of what we're saying here is, wait, there we go. I had a miscue in my CSS there. Nah, not quite what I'm looking for. Let's see, I'm looking for CSS, fixed bottom, fixed footer. CSS Tricks is a pretty neat website. You find a lot of cool things on how they work there. I think what I'm needing probably is this width of 100% rule to make that work. Syntax errors galore. Now it's kind of more attached to the bottom. If I had a lot more content in the page, I might actually kind of have to start checking when scrolls start coming into play. I might just kind of copy some stuff and paste it in a couple times. Let's make the scroll bar on the right side of my browser kind of show up. And kind of see how it's fixed to the bottom. I think I'll cover that in the labs too. All kinds of different ways to write CSS as well. If I wanted to kind of create an advertisement div or something to that effect, class equals advert for advertisement. And maybe it has a h3 tag in it, possibly some sort of image tag, source equals, alt equals. Alternative text being what gets described to someone who can't actually see the image. It'll just kind of describe the image. We'll talk more about that later in the semester. So I just kind of rip some text up, throw it somewhere. Now, it doesn't quite look like it will do much. H3 tag, little short paragraph tag. But I do have this class equals advert. So if I come back to my style sheet, and this is kind of in my main section, or kind of the content section of my page. I wanted to define an advert. Let's float it over to the right with a width of about 35%. See where that takes us first. Kind of breaks it up. It's right up against it. Wouldn't hurt to kind of maybe throw some margin or some padding to it. Margin left maybe of 2%. That advert could use this same font family that's here. I'm just going to kind of copy that guy. That's not really where I want to put it. .advert h3. Here we go. This will say that the h3 tag inside of the advert container, .advert is the class, put class on the div, so the h3 that is inside that class should get our header font style. Lots of different ways to write CSS. How to do things. P tag, font size, kind of small, maybe 8 EM. And let's pull ourselves an image off of Google Images. That's not really what I want to do. HTML mean, why not? perfect. That's not the one. Let's see, I'm going to kind of just drag it out onto my desktop first. I kind of can drop it in the notepad and it get really crazy. But if I just kind of throw it into my folder that's back here, um, index, we want to put the source equal to the name of the file, HTML jokes underscore 4zeros.jpg, and something to kind of describe the picture, HTML meme. Let's take a look at it and see what that does, which is probably not really what we intended, right? The image kind of breaks the size here, goes over the edge of the container. It's just kind of how images work. There is sort of a rule that I would call a global rule that you could add to image. You could give it a width of 100% here. This would sort of apply to all image tags that exist in your page. That rule will kind of help resize it back down into the container. You can also just kind of cut the picture to be exactly that size. But what you could also do is sort of surround this tag with an A tag, and it's going to have a hyperlink reference. A tag on the front, closing A tag on the end. So image tag has a source points to the file. An A tag hyperlink references to a place, and really we could just send it to this one image like that. Do some formatting here. Formatting is completely up to you how you want to do it. Comments really help, and advert. And this will kind of make it so that when you click on it, you can kind of get a little bit more of a full image. All kinds of other stuff that you could do too. Something called modal windows, a little bit advanced for right now, but we'll talk about it. Actually, we'll talk about this one later in the semester, so let's look at that one. Lightbox, kind of a cool deal. Locash to car, Lightbox. Kind of put an image in a page, and you click on it, you get a nice big full screen image. And it's pretty easy to get started with it. You could just kind of download the zip file, like I'm going to do here. This is really advanced and probably the last thing I'll do in this video. But images are so much fun to kind of work with. So, kind of three files that need to come out. That's a CSS, an images, and a JS folder. So we need to go to our test folder and stick that there. You'll actually find that organizing different files different ways will actually kind of help you keep track and organize your site a little bit better. So you can kind of see that I dragged my CSS file into my CSS folder, my regular one. So if I go back into my website, it's not going to work now. It's a pretty simple fix. It actually says that it lost it. Let's open it back up. I just kind of need to fix my link here to point to it. So it's in the CSS folder, and that's still the name of the file. Kind of get it back. Let's see. Okay, so we got a Lightbox. There's a couple things that we need to add. I'm thinking this one probably still needs JavaScript or jQuery. Oops. Okay. Let's link into the top of our page. Hyperlink reference to the lightbox.css file. That's rel equals style sheet. There's lots of examples in that folder as well. So we included the link. At the bottom of the page, we need to put in a path to the Lightbox JavaScript. And we'll talk a little bit about JavaScript towards the end of the semester. So that's at the very bottom, right before the closing body tag. Script source equals JavaScript slash lightbox.js. Script tag. We don't have jQuery included yet, I don't think. That's why. Let's see, let's take a look at the folder they gave us. Probably should have pulled these out of distribution. Yeah, let's do that. Or it should be, I'll just kind of drag them over and merge them all together. And it's still there. Test, JavaScript. It's telling us that we need to use this one if that's the one. If you're not currently using jQuery, which we're not, there's a packaged file that includes it, and that's this one here, Lightbox plus jQuery. So I really just kind of need to change this to this. Dang it, didn't actually mean to close that. Lightbox. Oh, sometimes you just get down the rabbit trail. I want to do something cool. Let's see, getting started, Lightbox. We need to add these two attributes to the A tag. So I'm just going to kind of copy them out here for now. We already have the href that's pointing to the image. These two are just kind of what the JavaScript will be looking for. And that's kind of how it'll know that that's how we need to treat that link. So let's go back up to that A tag that was there and post these two. Oops, something didn't happen there. Lightbox.css, file not found. Oh, my path is not correct. Up at the top. CSS/Lightbox, there we go, sorry. Bugs galore. Alright, take two. It's kind of neat. Let's see. If you wanted to change the caption in the title, you could do that. Just some meme. I'll call this my memes. Data Lightbox is sort of the group that it belongs to. Data title is, of course, the title for the individual image. I don't think the group name is used at all, other than just keeping them together. If you want to make a slideshow, you just have the same, this one, the same. Make two. And they could be different images too. Anyways, hope that was kind of helpful. Kind of talks a little bit about wrapper class, maybe why it is kind of a thing, and how it can kind of help you do what you want to do. And it's really kind of up to you how you want to put it all together to make it work. So it just takes time, takes a little bit of tinkering. You know, still would probably want to come in and maybe mess with some margin and padding, adjust some stuff, but overall it's looking pretty good. You know, getting good, going good. Anyway, have a good one. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.